want to call the show?
Double Helix.
Double Helix.
Double Helix.
Double Helix? Okay, here's something I thought of. Alright?
Alright.
So you got Media Pod Smash, right?
Yeah.
I did my research. So Media Pod Smash is MPS. Okay? So I did my research. I looked online and we could steal something that's abandoned but fits your branding.
Okay.
And we could do
I'm filled with anticipation.
now granted this was A, so we could steal it with a T because it's been inactive, but we can do still MPS, but we can do the miserable podcast of secrets.
Oh, I like that. Okay.
Going with your,
But this was something before?
huh?
This was something?
A miserable podcast of secrets was a podcast from 2012, last
Mm.
episode. Or alternatively, we could do we do go to Ravenholm.
Nice. I like that. Okay. All right.
Those are my pitches.
Okay. I like
Okay,
those.
okay.
I'm a fan of both of those.
Okay.
In
All
fact.
right.
It's the start of a new year, right?
Mm-hmm.
And New Year is full of potential. And my guess is that both of you have some goals for this year, maybe some gaming related goals.
Always.
Always. I think one of our goals this year should be to finish off some of those games that we've been sitting on for a long time.
Wow. What an unplanned
Oh my
prompt.
God. Is this a segment?
So bust out that backlog
And
slay them.
Slay it.
Backlog Slayers.
All right. So what? How is this gonna work?
Yeah, how's this gonna work? We're gonna. So I think throughout the year, I think it's still important that we play the games that we want to play, especially the current releases. So I think we need to determine.
Create
But
some
we want to. We
structure.
definitely want to aim for backlog. So I think we should do. I don't know. What are we?
We
What-
broke the fourth wall.
That's fine. We're good at that.
So we want to work through our back catalog of games. Anything that you own, anything that you have sitting in your shelf, your Steam library, the back of your Game Boy case, anywhere that there's a game that you're like, you know what, I really should get around to that on a rainy day. But we know you're still going to play some regular stuff. So you'll get points based on, throughout the year, you'll get points based on all the games that you finish. But you'll get double points if they're one of your backlog titles.
And
so
there's a bonus chance for based on
what
a
generation
random,
it came
and
from.
we'll get to the spin.
Put on here what our point structures are for length.
I guess if there's some way you could like shorthand that even more to make it easier on you, like stop writing hours. I think that'll help you. And I think it could be. I think we'll do a minimum of 3. And if you want, you can do more than that. But I think any games that we nominate for being in our backlog that we wish to complete, there will be a penalty if you do not complete them. So don't have
There's a
bigger
time
eyes.
limit?
The time limit will be. I mean, I don't understand why. I mean, we'll how about realistically, we shoot for the year.
Oh, okay.
And we'll nominate at least 3 games every quarter. but we don't have to have the games done by the next quarter.
That works. That's good.
Cool.
Yeah.
So by the end of the year, we'll have brought 12 minimum.
Okay.
And then we can kind of check in how everybody's doing and...
All right.
Almost done. And how are we going to quantify how long these games are supposed to take?
We'll use howlongtobeat.com. A very handy website.
All right.
And we'll use the base. So like whatever, I can't remember what the base value is,
story, I think it was
story.
Finishing the story.
Yeah. No 100%ing stuff.
Right, I'm trying not to get too distracted.
Well, and it won't matter like how long it actually takes you, but how long it's supposed to be is how we'll quantify its point value.
And we could, we'll be subjective judges.
There
also
might be wiggle room to make cases for why a game might be worth more points.
Sure. Yeah.
All right, so we have a point structure. No? Too high?
You popped it.
All right, so we have a point structure based on how long it's supposed to take to beat.
All right.
Any questions on what kinds of games you should be thinking about? Because I had to ask some questions.
I think there shouldn't be any questions. I mean, it should be anything. PC games. I know that we have some humble games, but it doesn't have to be humble games.
Mm-hmm.
I know that, we were subscribed to Humble Bundle or Humble Monthly for a long time, but not all of those games apply or, interest me, you, him. There's a little bit of variety, so it doesn't have to be. And, we could seriously, PC is a great example. We could seriously, if we want to buy Dead Rising 2 on PC and play it, it still applies to whatever console generation it was released in, but it doesn't have to necessarily be something that we already own.
Okay.
It could be something we've always wanted to play.
All right.
Okay, I like that.
So, console,
clarifying
console
backlog.
games too. If you have a console game backlog, you go to a retro game store, you see something you want to play, buy it, play it, blah blah blah, dump it, play it on an emulator. That's definitely something that I do want to help clarify. We're doing this to experience a game, not for a competition. You're playing something retro. You want to play it on an emulator. You want to use save states just to see the ending to get there. Fine.
Do it.
We're not being. So.
All right.
Cool.
Okay.
So
Love it.
So I'll just put this back here for the moment.
All right. So
For
we have
storage.
3 games for this first.
Yeah. I
Would
guess.
you like to each take a turn?
How about if I
with
go?
one of our games?
I'll go first.
You're gonna do all 3?
I'll
Okay.
do all. Well, do we want to throw one out and just go around? Will that make it more interesting?
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm gonna throw out
Your first pick.
I'm gonna throw out. I guess maybe a curveball,
Okay.
maybe a surprising thing to just kind of set you guys off, maybe with an idea. And I know you got stuff thought of already, but I'm gonna say my first game that I wanna put up for Backlog Slaying is Super Mario Galaxy.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay, I feel like you started it at one point,
I don't
but
know.
I don't think
it's
you
funny
got
because
to...
I don't know if I ever beaten it, but I will be starting it over, completely fresh, and that's one game that I've always wanted I really want to get to, and maybe down the road I'll throw out Mario Galaxy 2, but one step at a time.
I think it's funny that you brought that forward because that was actually one of the strong contenders that I was going to put on my list because I never played it. I watched you start it a little bit, but I never got to play it.
Well, you can. You don't have to just be like, well, I don't.
Yeah, no, that's a good one. Like I was also thinking about that. That's a good one.
All right.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever actually gotten around to playing that all the way through.
It's excellent. Like it's really good, and I think there was just a flood of shit, so it's just like whatever. But I'm gonna dedicate some time to doing it.
Sweet.
Perfectly good reason to get it started.
All right. Well, which direction?
I'll go. All
Okay.
right. First of all, I brought this one here with me. I got the physical
excellent.
version.
Love
so,
it.
Metroid Prime Remastered.
Nice.
Excellent.
I played a little bit of back in the day
Okay.
when it was on GameCube.
Okay.
But not all the way through.
Okay.
So I'm really excited to.
Okay.
Crack the seal on that one.
Just questioning. Now, are you gonna open that up and are you gonna play it on Switch, or are you gonna run through it, like on an emulator?
I will play it on Switch.
Cool.
Yeah.
Okay.
So will you count that as a Switch game then, since it's?
What do you, in regards to generation?
Yeah, if we're doing the spin.
I think remakes and remaster. Well, I guess let's vote on this. Remakes and remasters. Do we want to count the generation they released or the generation they originally came out?
I kind of feel
So
like it
let's
could
throw
count
that-
for either.
But where should we?
Well,
I think it could count for both. Like if you spin either one.
that's yeah.
Do we want to?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's because
So
that's
you
a
get a little.
strategy then.
Okay, that's a strategy.
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
All right. Nasty boy.
Yeah. So I will not be declaring
Which version of Metroid Prime? Okay. Excellent.
I've heard really good things about that one, so
Okay,
I think you'll like it.
Cool.
Sweet.
Awesome.
Okay.
My first pick, I also have mine.
Oh, okay.
I brought Ni no Kuni.
Okay.
One I kind of always intended to play. I know Smitty used to talk it up a lot on Scatcast, and
Now, did you check the how long to beat? On
I
that
did.
one?
It's actually less than
what
what I
is it
expected.
listed
I think
as?
it was 28.
Really? Okay. That's
for
like
just the bare bones, get through it.
That's short for like
It
a
was-
high budget RPG.
It was
Okay.
much higher than that for full completion, obviously. So there was a big scope on this one.
Okay.
But I originally thought maybe this would be unreachable because of length expectations. But this is another one. I like Studio
got the
Ghibli.
year.
Yep.
You got the
I've
year.
never heard anything but good, positive things about it, and I think it'll be a
Sweet.
good one to go through. So I'm gonna do Ni no Kuni.
Okay.
We can update our time to beats in post too.
Sure. Cool.
We need
Okay,
to,
sure.
Yeah.
Cool.
Add it in later.
Yeah. Maybe you can you could just like a strip at the bottom
Yeah.
with the game name and the time to beat,
Yeah.
like a news story. There you go.
Ticker.
All right. The next one.
Second one.
The next one I wanted to do is something that I started playing, I think, last year. It's a somewhat more recent release, and that's Anno Mutationum. Really crazy pixel art, 3D, 90s, hardcore anime themed game. Weird game, but I got into it, and then everything else came out, and then I stopped playing it. And I don't remember what happened, so obviously I'm going to be starting over. But no, really cool game, really cool art style. So
What type of game? Is it
it's like a side scroller brawler, but then there's exploration and puzzle solving, and there's
Interesting.
mini games. You gotta mix drinks in a bar, and
Okay.
yeah, so very cool styled game. So yeah, I want to get back to that one.
Should be a cool experience. What about you? What's number 2?
Number 2, I'm gonna say Rage 2. I didn't bring it with
Nice.
me, but
Okay.
I played the first one. I really enjoyed it. It was a cool open world first-person shooter. You're in a
He's not impressed.
wasteland. It's kind of Mad Max Fallout style-ish kind of game.
Didn't that come out, if I remember correctly, didn't that come out the same time that Mad Max game came out?
Yeah,
And
yeah.
I think there was a lot of
I forgot there was
which
a Mad
one
Max
are you
game.
gonna play? Because
Yeah.
you can't play both. You have to,
Right,
you have to,
you
you have to
have
pick
to
one.
pick
Yeah,
sides.
so
That Mad Max game was actually really good too.
yeah.
But yeah.
Are you gonna be playing that on Xbox? Or
I
are you
will be
on
playing
PC?
it. I'm playing it. Well, I'll be planning on playing it on Game Pass.
Cool.
So
Oh, it's on Game Pass?
Yeah.
On PC Game Pass?
I think it is.
Nice.
But
Cool.
I will be playing it on
Xbox.
Xbox One.
Okay,
Yeah.
Cool.
Cool.
So yeah, looking forward to that.
Sweet.
It's a good one.
All right.
I have my second one as well. I'm gonna give Odin Sphere a shot.
Okay.
I started it, put maybe half an hour into it, and didn't really go any further. It's beautiful, old Vanillaware, pretty hand painted art style. Just one of those, I feel like I always would see it on the shelf at the store and just go that looks like that was made for me, and I just never put the time into it. So yeah, I figured now's a good chance to go back and give it a go.
All right. And now I guess I'm kind of at a deciding What do I want my third game to be? Because I have kind of a list here.
You can always do.
Yeah.
Let's do a bonus.
I'll just go with the original plan. I guess the next game that I want to play, I haven't bought it. I did intend to, but I think this is a good reason to. But I want to play Signalis, which is also another kind of like weird pixel 3D, like Resident Evil throwback that was released last year. It looks really badass, so I wanna get into that and make some time for that. So.
Cool.
Yeah, so.
Alright.
Signalis is my number 3.
Did you look up the times for any of your games? Like,
I didn't, but I know that
Cool.
I feel like.
Ding. It'll be right here.
Yes. Look in the yeah.
I looked all
In
mine
the
up
video
because I
description
had, I had no idea what mine were going to be, so I
Sure,
looked
I
them all
kinda have
up,
a
and I kind of used that to help me decide.
I kind of have a feeling like probably like couldn't be more than like 12 hours or something. So
I think it's doable.
yeah.
All right.
Awesome.
My last pick is, I kind of debated a little bit with it. I was going to go retro, but I'm going to keep it kind of modern with Dead Island 2.
Cool.
Nice.
Awesome.
Okay.
That just came out, right?
Yeah.
Cool. I actually heard like good stuff about it. So did you
me
play it at
too.
all?
No, I haven't
Cool.
started.
Awesome.
I really liked the first one. I was like kind of apprehensive on this because I read that it was just a more completely linear style game. Like it's not the open world exploration. But
That's
the
not
reviews
the worst,
were,
but that's not the worst thing nowadays.
Yeah.
Is to have something that's a little more direct
Yeah.
and guided.
Yeah, because everything is now open
Yeah,
world.
yeah,
So, yeah.
Well, and like you mentioned earlier, it's so easy to just like, oh, look over there.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're trying to focus and get to the end point, like,
And I'm
that's
sure
not a
there's
bad
still
thing.
going to be some fun collectibles to find on the maps.
Sure.
So,
Cool.
yeah, looking forward to that.
Awesome.
What is your final or third game?
My last one was another one I was struggling with not wanting to maybe open this one, but I do really want to play it, so I decided now was the time. I'm gonna do Holy Potatoes.
Oh, nice.
You're not doing all 3?
I'm gonna do the first one.
Okay.
What's the first one?
And we'll see. The first one is Holy Potatoes, a weapon shop.
Okay, I think that's the one I played.
I know I started it on Steam, I think, quite a while ago.
DS, I think.
Oh, okay, yeah, maybe. I think I get this one and the other Weapon Shop de
Omase,
Omase. I
yeah.
get those confused. I know I had a good time with it. I always meant to go back to it and just got flooded with other stuff. There's 3 in this box, so we'll see, but I think I'm going to aim to finish the first one.
Okay.
You just always buy it digitally, especially when there's an eShop sale, if you don't want to open that.
There's bonus postcards.
Very nice.
Because you can't find that art online.
Yes. So,
If I'm not mistaken, didn't they do a Holy Potatoes game like where they're like in hell or something?
Yeah, that's on there.
yep. The first game is in here, Holy Potatoes, a weapon shop. The second one is Holy Potatoes, we're in space. And then the third one is Holy Potatoes, what the hell.
Oh, okay.
And this one has all 3 of them.
Nice.
Yeah.
Cool.
I'm excited to get that one started. That actually might be the first one I start because I think out of the 3, that was the shortest one. So I might use that as like a lead-in to get started.
And honestly, like, there's nothing. Yeah, you don't get a
And
lot
it's
of,
so easy to just grab my Switch.
you don't get a lot of points, but there's still nothing wrong with just firing off some 1 point.
I think getting something finished under my belt
Sure.
will help me get some momentum. So.
Yeah. I guess, does anyone want to nominate more than 3 games? Or you just
Is
start
there
with
anything
3?
you were kind of on the fence about that maybe was a close
I don't know.
You
I
can
think
save.
I'm good.
Yeah, okay. Hey. Goblin.
honorable mention?
Goblin. Where'd this wheel come from?
It's freaking magical.
Oh my god.
So
Alright.
the wheel is divided up among all the different game generations, and so that will define our bonus for this quarter. So give it a spin.
Okay. Oh,
Oh, that's not gonna cut it.
There we go.
Alright. What'd we get?
Whoa. Somewhere in between spin again and
Do we need to, like, just clack? Like, we need to just clack and just, like, start over. It was working pretty good earlier.
Thought we had that nailed down.
Yeah. Spin master. Alright.
that's a good one.
That's a good one. All right, what do we get here?
We got 4th gen.
4th gen.
Do you want to bring up?
To 93.
87 through 93.
Oh, what a good chunk of time.
Okay.
I have none
So
of
that
those.
is, I don't think we have.
So you had on the sheet that you had me copy, kind of gives what systems fell in that generation. That little
I'm so unorganized. Grid. So yeah, Gen 4 was typically TurboGrafx 16, Genesis, and Super Nintendo. So, no.
So now you're gonna add.
Oh, you were gonna go Gex. All right.
Now you're gonna add Garfield Caught in the Act as your honorable mention.
All right. So some things I just wanted to kind of cover and go over. I thought, we're going to be doing a game podcast, but I thought let's do something just a little bit different. And that little bit different thing is, let's talk about positive things. Let's talk about negative things. Well, we can have some cynicism, but I don't really want to focus on like the really like bad news stories.
I kind of get off on shitting on things, though.
Well, that's fine. But I'm saying, of course, right now is all the stupid layoffs and people losing their jobs and whatever. I don't want to talk about that.
Accusations.
But one thing I do want to talk about is the Xbox Showcase.
Okay.
I would assume neither of you guys had the time and opportunity. Yeah, it was on at a weird time the other night. So.
Yeah. Okay.
I guess the first game that they covered was the new Indiana Jones game. So first-person game. Looks very authentic. Unfortunately, Harrison Ford's voice is not in it. They're using Troy Baker.
I think they could do worse, though.
Yeah.
I was about to say something negative, but I stopped myself.
No. Negative news. We're not going to report on negative news.
I think everyone would have a hard time understanding Harrison Ford if they actually did use his actual voice.
Yeah. Is he kind of rough now?
He's just old. And
yeah.
Sure.
Well, he's been mumbling since the first 3 movies.
So, do you know the studio that's making the game?
It's Bethesda.
That's the publisher.
That's the publisher.
Yeah.
But, I don't know.
Machine Games.
Oh, okay.
Do you know who the other games they have made?
I'm familiar with them.
Yes,
I don't know.
You are very familiar with them.
PJ.
Machine Games put out
the Wolfenstein games. The newer Wolfenstein games.
Yes.
Yeah. So I know that's right up your alley. So
nice. Yeah.
I was also excited to see in the footage. I don't really know what kind of role he has in the game. Maybe he is a villain or one of the villains. But maybe just as a joke he plays himself. But Tony Todd is in the game.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So
cool.
Mr. Candyman, original Candyman, is in there.
I might just look up some footage of that. I'm interested.
It definitely looks cool. It is kind of like weird though for them to have like making like an Indiana Jones game and it be first person.
Yeah.
I'm not saying it's going to be bad, but it definitely doesn't really feel like that would be like the view that a lot of people would be expecting.
Like for puzzle solving, I imagine that'll be interesting.
Yeah. But I mean, there is like some badass like scenes when they showed like the footage of him like whipping dudes and like wrapping around their necks and pulling them forward and punching them. So
I
have to imagine there's a good reason that they chose to go that route, though. Like,
well, I mean, if it is the same team that made the Wolfenstein games,
they know what they're doing.
Yeah, so I would assume they kind of just keep going with what they do well. So I guess nothing wrong there. Yeah. So I guess narratively, besides Youngblood, you thought the story for the more recent Wolfenstein games are pretty good?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
The next game they showed was Avowed.
Nice.
Have you seen anything on this?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I've been trying to follow.
Okay. Yeah. So it is Obsidian's new game. So the makers of Fallout New Vegas, and they did I think they were like weird almost like computer style strategy games like Pillars of Eternity. But I guess Avowed is like a game taking place in the Pillars of Eternity world they created, but it's like their take on like Morrowind.
Sweet.
So,
interesting.
Yeah, the footage that they showed, like it was kind of cool seeing like a modern game actually be colorful. But like some of the footage, I guess we'll have to see. But some of the animations and stuff look a little bit stilted, but it was cool to see.
Is it early footage though, or earlier?
Yeah, it's coming out in 2024.
Okay.
So, it could be December or whatever before it comes out. So that was pretty cool.
Are they also doing Outer Worlds this year too?
They didn't mention anything specifically about that, and I know that you played that. I didn't play it, but I can't say that I've really remember seeing any news or anything that they are making a sequel. Have you seen? Did they confirm that they are making a sequel?
They are definitely doing a sequel. They had a trailer in the last whatever.
That's right. Yeah. That's right. But I mean, it was like a nothing trailer.
Yeah,
it was like a
we're doing it.
Yeah. No gameplay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So. The next game that they showed was Senua Saga, Hellblade 2. I didn't play Hellblade.
I think I started playing that to get some achievements.
So unfortunately, that didn't really have any attachment to it.
Was that the one where you're that girl going through different courtyards and shit? And
I don't remember.
I know it's a female protagonist.
Yeah.
Okay.
So.
I think that's what
it's supposed to be like a horror game with an appropriate take on mental health disorders or something like that. So
I think I played through the first quarter of that game.
Okay. The next game they showed I haven't heard of before, but it's called Ara, History Untold. It looks like a Civilization game on crack.
All right.
So you might want to dig into that title,
cool,
check some stuff out for that.
Sweet. I feel like you haven't had a chance to scratch that itch in a while.
Yeah, and what was weird is this was very much it was like the Xbox showcase, but it felt like it was I guess it wasn't Bethesda, but it felt like it was just really that. And it was weird because I think it was the last game that they showed was the new Mana title from Square Enix, Visions of Mana. This game looks gorgeous, it's just colorful and classic Secret of Mana, Super Nintendo, brought in 3D, so that was pretty cool. Excited to see that. So
nice.
Yeah, that was the Xbox showcase. Some other things I kind of wanted to bring up was Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown. Mm-hmm. Have you seen anything on this?
Kinda.
Currently 86 on OpenCritic. It is supposed to be the best damn Metroidvania out right now.
Sweet. That's awesome.
Yeah, so
I added that to my thing.
Yeah. Well, I mean, still play it.
Yeah.
But no, they're saying it's really, really good. So, and I think we all appreciate a good Metroidvania here.
I say I've never had any reason to feel compelled to play a Prince of Persia game, but that might be enough to get me to give it a shot.
I feel like this isn't really in any of our wheelhouses. I guess me a long time ago, but nothing in recent years. But it's always cool when things have anniversaries happening, and I guess it is EverQuest's 25th anniversary and EverQuest 2's 20th anniversary.
Interesting.
And they announced that for both games, they have stuff slated to go on the whole year.
Oh wow, that's cool.
Yeah, so they're doing special events and that kind of stuff. So it's always cool to
that's somebody's excitement.
Yeah, but
for
I mean,
sure.
25 years is
that's nuts.
That's weird for the concept of people, and maybe not everyone, but that there has to be someone that was on the ground floor that's still playing 25 years later. So I mean that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I guess
Slash pizza.
And that they're not only that they're celebrating but supporting it in that way. But with such a big
why?
I think he wants attention. Goblin. The next thing I wanted to talk about is Ioneo is a company that makes handheld PCs, but they're generally very boutique and very expensive. These seriously can range anywhere from $800 to $1,200. And it's nice that the Steam Deck came out and they kind of lowered that price ceiling. And then Asus brought out the ROG Ally, and that lowered the ceiling a little more. I can't remember. MSI has one coming out soon. Almost pretty much like the Ally. But then, so this Ioneo company, they actually announced that they want to put out a PC platform that doesn't have Windows, and in fact actually launches with SteamOS. And I guess the lowest spec model is actually going to launch for $299.
That's crazy.
So like, that's like huge. So like now we're starting to get a lot of these companies in that are like really starting to lower the cost of entry and find a way to like bring PC gaming to the masses. And
that's the only way they're going to make it consumer viable, is by keeping it, I think, under the cost of the current consoles.
Yeah.
Because I think no matter how powerful a handheld is, there's still going to be a subsect of people that have a hard time paying as much for a handheld as a console. And I would assume a lot of households or gamers are probably going to want both.
Sure.
So
that's and even if you do like basic stuff with the Steam Deck, like if you dock a Steam Deck to a TV, and you get a mouse and keyboard, you can still run in a Linux desktop mode. So like, say, low income or whatever, but you can still have a device that can go on, websites and stream Netflix and that kind of stuff.
Multifunctional.
So I think that's like really cool for bringing PCs into the household for more of like a gamer
at a much more digestible price.
Yeah. So I thought that was pretty cool. I guess, like, positive, but questionable. Mm-hmm. They showed more footage recently of Suicide Squad, Kill the Justice League.
God.
And so one of the things that people were complaining about was all of the characters move the same. Mm-hmm. So one of the things that they changed recently in development was all of the characters have like a certain way of moving now. Like they break into the Hall of the Justice League and they steal like stuff. Mm-hmm. So like I can't remember who gets what, but like Captain Boomerang I think steals something from the Flash, so he can kind of like zoom around, and like I think Harley uses like a weird batarang or something, but I mean, I guess they're kind of listening, because now all the characters don't move around like they're from Crackdown. So, because that was my immediate. Yeah. They're just Crackdown. Like they're charging their jumps and they're leaping really high. And so I guess now there's like.
I thought the people's problem with this game was that it's just gonna be another shitty cash
grab.
Yeah, it's a game of service. Junk. But I mean,
It's gonna shut down after a year and a half.
Probably less. But these are some of the complaints that people have.
Sure.
I think when you code a game around a certain way, it's very hard to rip out that monetization from it when it's at its core.
It's like part of the skeleton at that point.
But they've actually been listening to, okay, well, we can't take this out of the game, but we can change this. Mm-hmm. So that was kind of interesting to see them kind of change that movement stuff. I guess they are locking certain gun weapon types behind certain characters, so isn't all the characters can use all of the guns, like listening, I guess. And they also said that this is going to be the game that they worked on that has the most story content out of any DC based game they've made before.
Okay.
Bullshit. They made the Arkham games.
Well, they say this has more story.
All they had to do was make another Arkham game.
Yeah.
Do you know how hard is that? I'm sure it'll be good. I'm sure it'll be. I can't wait. But check it out.
Here's my cynicism take on it, is that one of the biggest things that I see people complaining about, which I can't even understand why they did, is so I guess it fits in universe. But so I guess the whole thing is Metropolis is taken over by Brainiac, and Brainiac is all kind of weird, like cybernetic, but he's still a little bit of like meaty. So apparently all of the enemies you fight have a giant purple pimple on them somewhere. Vehicles, foot soldiers. And so of course if you shoot the purple spot, you do more damage, which is the dumbest. Why couldn't they just be enemies and you can hit them, or headshots do more damage? But
games have been doing for
the enemies
40 years
have a very noticeable purple spot on them.
What were they, in the great words of the AVGN, what the fuck were they thinking?
I think it's the problem is they were, and who knows if it was them or who knows if it was their parent company, but I think it's chasing that games as a service train, you know, getting on there. And you want
that to be as accessible as possible.
But I mean,
more wallets.
Yeah.
Maybe you can pay to turn that off.
I totally understand where you're coming from. Like, they made the Arkham games. Like, what happened?
Yeah.
Like, what happened?
But I mean, just looking at like how some of the stuff recently has failed too, like the Avengers.
Yeah.
And like, how,
and I could be wrong, but I think
not see this is not what people want.
Yeah, I could be wrong, but I think there was just something either this week or last week about a company like stopping, like canceling 2 games as a service projects, which like. Hopefully those people have jobs. Hopefully whatever assets they worked on can be retooled for something else.
Yeah.
But like, I think, here's the thing. Like, when I was younger, and I had lots of free time, and I got exposed to like the classic RPGs of like the Super Nintendo, like Final Fantasy VI, like specifically, like. Games that were like 100 hours were like amazing to me because like that's bang for your buck.
Yeah,
you're like, oh man, I love this universe. I'm gonna stay in it forever.
Yeah.
And now like it's almost like they're trying to like make these games last.
Yeah.
Like, but I mean like with so many games coming out and so like people's attention being divided in so many different places, who has the time and attention span to stay with something for a year?
Mm-hmm.
You know, like even like or
20 to 25 years.
But even like even like sports, for example, there's off season,
right?
Yeah.
You know, like you're all gung ho, but there's downtime.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't get it, and like I don't really feel like anything like games as a service I really like fully ever bought into. I mean, I don't really know if like you can consider like the original Overwatch that, but I mean that was just more of like quick matches, multiplayer.
I would say
like
the
team
meat
versus
of it
team.
was not.
Yeah. But I mean like Destiny had good gunplay, but there was nothing that really kind of like attracted me to keep playing it. So yeah, this is weird.
Sure. Yeah,
it's
yeah,
weird.
Stuff just gets old. You want to just move on.
Yeah.
We'll wish them well.
Yeah.
Good luck,
and you know,
guys.
like I'm gonna keep an eye on it because it is Rocksteady,
Mm-hmm.
and you know I'm a DC fan, and you know I want more DC stuff to come out because it's like funny because I was a huge Marvel fan when I was younger, and as I got older, it's just like, okay, I know all that stuff. Let's look into something I haven't looked into, and you know started dipping my pole into the pond, dipping my toe into the pond of DC stuff and discovering stuff, and you know, so it's cool like to kind of have like this DC renaissance in the public eye because it's always been Marvel.
Yeah.
You know? So yeah, there's that. The next thing, I guess the last news thing I really want to kind of go over is Pal World. So they just released like in the last maybe hour or so new stats, and like this shit is just like getting insane. So Pal World, for those that don't know, is this like basically this like meme-tastic Pokemon holding Gatling guns and capturing them and putting them into slavery and working for you, but it turns out the game is actually good. So I don't think people really kind of thought this is going to happen, but it was maybe like 3-4 hours ago.
Okay.
But they just announced in the last 40 hours. So the game launched. It's like really late Saturday night now, but the game launched on Friday, sometime on Friday. But in the last 40 hours, 3 million people have now played the game.
Wow.
And in fact, on Steam, it has concurrently had the most amount of players ever.
Oh,
it has
wow.
now surpassed Counter-Strike in
Jesus.
all of the time that it's been out for the most amount of people to be in Counter-Strike.
At the same time.
At the same time, and this game
That's
came
I
out
hadn't
on
even
Friday.
heard of this until you guys sent me that.
That's nuts.
But yeah, it's cool. So yeah, I know that you played like Green Hell and The Forest and stuff like that, and I've never played those games myself, but
we played the vampire game.
But but that's different perspective.
Okay.
V Rising is good.
Okay.
But like first person perspective, I think this is exactly what you've played before, but also with catchable, tameable monsters in it.
That's cool, man.
Yeah. But like one of the cool things that I unlocked in the game before we stopped playing was actually equipment for your pals, which they're called in the game. So like there's a stingray, and by crafting this item, I can now use the stingray as like a Breath of the Wild style glider.
Oh, nice.
And so I had a boar. I was able to make a saddle for it, so now I can ride my boar around in world. There's like a fire Pokemon, not Vulpix. I think it was later on. It was like maybe the mid stage of one of the fire ones later on. But yeah, it's like a fire fox. But in Pal World, I guess you can make a device where you can like mount it like on your arm and like pull its tail or something, and it acts like a flamethrower.
Wow.
So
nice. That's cool.
Yeah. So
is there like
so then you have the survival aspect on top of that. So you build your base, you're building your farm to be able to have food to keep your hunger stat up. You're building stuff to help raise your stats and their stats, and like Chris said, you put them to work for you, so you have to kind of pick and choose who you want to have work so that they do your farming or they do your resource material gathering.
Nice.
And it's like funny, like once like watching the automated stuff, like so you'll have like a quarry and there'll be like a guy like digging up rocks, and while the rocks are like falling on the ground, a guy's coming over and grabbing them and like taking them to the chest and stuff.
That's cool.
So yeah, no, I mean it seems cool. You know, for being early access, I don't really know like how long it's going to take most people to reach like the end of the content. But I could see this being like a game where it's just like, hey, we haven't played Pal World in a while. We want to start over and see what's new and that kind of stuff. So, but yeah, no, I mean, I guess they're doing awesome. So
that's cool.
Yeah.
Is there like a Pokédex equivalent
Yes.
for keeping track of That's cool.
Yeah. It's like really fleshed out.
Nice.
So
and it tracks even like the ones that you've seen or encountered to some extent
versus the ones you've caught.
Yep.
Cool. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Oh,
but like it's cool.
right now.
But like it's cool. I don't know if I mean, it's not the biggest thing, but it's just like something that is just kind of like radiant that happens in the world is, I don't know if they did it in like the forest or Green Hell or anything like that, but I mean, just randomly, I don't know how it's controlled, but like chests will just spawn here and there.
Oh, okay.
So you just loot them and
nice.
Some cool shit will be in the chests and stuff.
That's cool.
Yeah, but the default survival rules are fucking harsh. Like if you die, like you drop everything.
Wow.
And there's like a message saying that like if you're playing on private servers, get your stuff back now before someone takes it from you.
Oh, that's
and I guess like on Steam that you can they're hosting like I don't know, dedicated servers. Mm-hmm. So like if you don't want to host the game yourself and play with the friends, you can go on and play with like 32 other people.
That's awesome.
So so yeah, and I guess
I like it so far.
Yeah, it's cool. Yeah. So the next thing I just wanted to go over a couple. It's weird. I kind of looked into like the 2024 releases, kind of like balancing what we're gonna do with like backlog versus like what's coming out, and I didn't really see that much personally. I know that I just kind of put some stuff down that maybe like we're collectively interested in possibly. I know Jamie and I are really interested in playing Grand Blue Fantasy Relink. We played a demo of that. It's a really cool fantasy style action RPG. So that comes out in the second. Pacific Drive, Fringe Science, Station Wagon
survival game
comes out on the 22nd of February.
Cool.
Final Fantasy VII Rebirth is going to be huge when it comes out on February 29th. Princess Peach Showdown.
Okay.
How do you guys feel? Showtime? Yeah. How do you feel about this? Are you?
I never played Super Princess Peach.
Super Princess Peach was badass.
Yeah, it was very good. It was very good.
You should.
Surprisingly very good.
Is it in that same vein? Is that what this is?
I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know. But I don't.
It's kind of hard to tell
Yeah, they
from what
haven't
they've
really
shown.
like,
We kind of made that
gameplay.
assumption because we both played Super Princess Peach. We kind of made that assumption when they announced it.
Sure.
But the gameplay that they've shown to me almost reminded me of Hat in Time. But I don't know if that's the
That'd
route
still
that
be
they're
cool.
trying to go.
Yeah. And then one thing
Or
I
like
thought
Costume
was,
Quest.
Sorry.
Okay.
And then one thing I thought was weird that I couldn't find. I thought they had something was the remake or the remaster, whatever you're calling it, for Paper Mario: A Thousand Year Door. There is no release date for that. But it's 2024.
Yeah.
But I mean, what they should it is coming out this year.
Yeah.
But I don't know when it's coming out this year.
That's awesome.
So is
I
that
can't wait
is
to
that
dive
is that like day one you're
Hell
doing
yeah.
right away? Yeah.
I might even know. I was gonna say I might even take off for that, but
Yeah?
not enough days
Okay.
Yeah.
to
Okay.
justify
Sure.
something like that.
Sure.
I finished RPG. It was outstanding. So
Oh, the
hopefully,
remake?
Yeah.
That's cool.
Hopefully, I don't see any reason to suspect it would be any less good than that.
Yeah.
Cool.
So.
Well, I'd like to add the. Well, I'm gonna butcher the name of this
That's
game,
fine.
but it's that game with all the heroes, the Elden Chronicles.
Oh yeah.
Iodine? Is it Iodine Chronicles?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
That's
Cool.
coming out in April, I think.
Cool.
Okay,
Cool.
awesome.
Yeah, I'm excited to give that one a go. It's just like I'm excited to try it because I briefly recently played like the first 8 hours of Suikoden 1 on PS1, and I still didn't get to like the kingdom building and whatever, and that's like what I really like. I want to know how all the different pieces fit together and mesh and interact with each other. So I think like I'm gonna probably play that one, and maybe like one day I'll go back and maybe try some of the older Suikoden games.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
But yeah, I tried to play the first one and it just wasn't holding my attention. I don't know why. Like
Yeah.
it just wasn't sticking. So, well, cool. I'm glad you're looking forward to that. Like I know that you played that the spin-off or whatever.
Yeah.
I was gonna put that on my list, but I don't know why I didn't. I guess that's another one I could put on there for the future.
Yeah, that's a good one. It's
But-
quick too.
It
was
is?
real quick.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's interesting too. I never really played a game like that before.
Yeah.
It's like
But
side
did you say it was
scroller,
like
but
Metroidvania?
yeah, like it light.
Okay.
Like there's not a lot of
Okay.
backtracking,
Okay.
but there's enough, and it's more like I don't know. It's really weird. I've never really played. It's like everything's side scrolling, but there's like RPG elements,
Cool.
and
Interesting.
The combat is really interesting because you got like I'm sure you've played games like this, but you got the different characters that you switch out doing combos as you.
Yeah,
switch
I
them
think I've
out.
seen that.
Okay.
Like each button is a character.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
That's pretty cool.
And there's an option if you're like kind of new to that format where it just auto switches. So I
Okay.
just used that.
Whatever. Like if you don't have experience.
Yeah. So
I don't see any problem with game accessibility.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Especially as the older we get, I don't need to
Yeah.
like.
Yeah.
I don't.
You don't
this
need purple
shit.
spots.
Yeah, you don't need games.
But-
You don't need games to make fun
not
of.
that
like,
far yet.
You don't need games to make you feel bad.
Yeah. I don't need them to hold my hand too much,
Okay.
but
You don't need
but
purple
I
spots,
don't need them to
but
make me
you-
feel bad either.
Big purple
Yeah.
spots.
Yeah.
Big purple spots.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, that and then the other thing that's coming soon to Game Pass might already be there. Turnip Boy robs a bank.
It is out already.
Okay.
And it is on Game Pass.
Cool. Looking forward to that.
I need to finish
You
Tax
completed those? You
Evasion.
completed the first one?
I did.
Cool.
I enjoyed it
Yeah.
quite a bit.
I feel like I got close. I got stuck somewhere and I had trouble finding my way and I stopped.
I kind of went on there was a time between like spring and like the end of summer where I went on like an achievement tear.
Okay,
I just
okay.
looked for all the Game Pass games I could that had like a easy-ish
Yeah.
achievement list, and I just played them all.
Nice.
I had to get past Nicholas. So
Oh,
if
you
you're
got the-
listening,
oh, okay.
Oh fuck, it's not recording anymore.
Oh,
I don't know
Oh,
when that
no.
stopped.
Oh,
That's
that's-
the problem with using this camera.
that sucks.
Bummer.
Yeah. Fuck.
It sucks that it doesn't give
Like an auto
at least a
warning.
beep or
Yeah.
something. Well, I guess it was all kind of news stuff or whatever. So if we need to
Yeah.
do it again, it wouldn't be
Well, at
that
least we have
hard.
the audio.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But
yeah, yeah. That works.
yeah.
I mean, obviously not tonight, but if we
Yeah.
needed to do that portion again, it wouldn't be that difficult to do.
All right. Yeah. Well. Yeah.